If you are a strength coach that is stuck between 2 and 5K per month, then I've got some news for you. It isn't an algorithm problem. It's not even a niche problem or even your content. It's actually a structure problem. And if this is you, the difference between you and a consistent 10K month isn't even a talent thing. It's whether you're operating like a coach or a 10K operator. And in all honesty, that is the shift that most strength coaches actually never make. Because let's be honest, you look great, you have a good physique, you're strong, you know how to coach. But when it comes to the business side, things aren't quite the same. You post randomly. Some months you feel solid, some months you feel dead. You hustle your way through, and it doesn't quite feel like you're moving forward. So you basically feel strong in the gym, but you have no real operating system for your business. And if you're new to my page, I ran a gym for 10 years. I built a community. I was in strongman, traveling all around the world, competing professionally. I built what I thought was the best thing I could build. Then I moved on to online and I grafted my arse off to get to 10K months, but I was burnt out. I was stressed. I was running on the energy that I had daily, but then having to recover myself every single day, feeling like I'd been hit by a bus because I didn't have the systems in place. I wasn't operating it like a business. I was just running it like a fucking obsessive coach that wanted to show the rest of the people that I could do both things and help them as well as help myself. But in the end, I burnt myself down to the ground. I had discipline, but I had no structure. And discipline with turning up, showing up, doing the same stuff, and let's be honest, doing the boring stuff that most people give up doing was easy for me. But I didn't have the structure in place. And this is what most coaches don't have because you started off as an athlete, as a coach, and that's completely fine. But when you're missing this, it really makes things crumble. So let me break things down for you here. And let's have some fun doing this because look, so many people get stressed within their business, don't know where to turn, don't know what to do. And I want to break this down as simple as I can for you. But let's just break it into two different areas. We've got the 2 to 5K area, and then we've got the 10K. Let's split this down, and we're going to have 4 different operating systems. So, first of all, here, when we look at the 2 to 5K per month coach, a lot of the time there is no KPIs. Now, yes, they're boring, but if you run a business, you need KPIs, otherwise, you don't run a business. You also have no weekly mission. You run things ad hoc, you just go with the flow. You then have reactive days, if you can read my writing. And this just feels like a mess. You're grinding, you're keeping yourself around that 2 to 5K mark, but it's not actually going to grow you. Then we have the 10K operator. Let's not forget what we're calling this person here. And within a 10K operator, it's quite simple. You have a KPI dashboard. You run things professionally. You look at your metrics to know exactly what you need to do next within your next month to be able to grow. You have CEO blocks. So these are quite simply, you are acting as the CEO. You're not a coach. You're changing your hat and you're thinking like a CEO to grow the actual business. And then we have the weekly mission. So within the weekly mission, it's understanding what is the focus this week? Where are you going? Where are you taking things? And then finally, you have the structure. And this is where a lot of people fall short because they feel like they have some form of structure in place. But if you're not batching things and you're not actually putting things into work blocks, then you're just ticking jobs off through the day and you find yourself still chasing your tail. And this area here is what I like to call the pro coach. And this is what I teach inside the shift. So next, let's look at the next block. So within the authority positioning, there's a lot of people that will just like post workouts. And I was there, I did it, but when you're constantly posting workouts, it's all about you instead of talking about the clients and what they need to attract them into your business. And you can't forget that people will look at you and think, well, it's easy for them because, and this is something that you will suffer with for years because that is what people think, although it's not true. You'll then have, can't even spell, you'll then have vague bio within your social media, which is fluffy. And if people land there, they won't tell exactly who you are and who you help. And you then have what looks like everybody else. So you will blend in, and often people will land on your page and they'll just think you're the same as every other coach. Whereas you want things to stick out so that you look different, you are it's clear who you work with, and people know exactly what they're going to get if they actually work with you. So then let's look at the 10K operator then. We've got clear transformations. It's clear who you work with and where you get them from and where you get them to. It's a clear niche, or a niche if you're American and you want to throw that one out there. But again, it's clear who you are talking to. When you niche down, you don't need to specifically niche down to the single individual person, but you want to niche down to the problem that you solve, because this is the best way to really stand out so that people understand if it's them or not. And that is what you want them to do. You want them to think this is me or this is not me, because obviously that's exactly the same difference. And then we want the identity, the messaging of how you are putting your message out. So, who are you identifying? Who are you identifying within your message? And are you talking to them specifically? And again, I call this the authority positioning. And with the authority position is all about making sure that you are speaking specifically and you are the authority within your message. And then let's do the same again and follow this on. Make sure you can see it on there. But then we have the next two areas. So the next part then is what I call the growth engine. This is the way that I get clients into my business and the way I teach people to get clients into their business. But most of the time, the 2 to 5K coach will post and hope. They will think that as long as you're showing up and you're posting, people will DM you when they want coaching. Gone are the days where you could just stick DM me for coaching at the end of your post. But then we've also got no call to actions. So let's not think that call to actions only mean specifically where to go to buy your product, but it could be a call to action to comment. It could be a call to action to DM you. It could be a call to action to direct you to something else, like a long form video or a lead magnet or a PDF download. Don't do fucking PDF downloads. They're actually quite boring, but something that you're directing people to give them value. And then you've got no DM structure. So there is a, there's been a huge thing for many years where mentors are pushing the whole DM structure and script side of things. Now, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't once done that. And I'd be lying if I said I hadn't downloaded them. But I come to realize really fast that DM scripts are shit, because people want to speak to real people. The conversation doesn't always flow the way it does. And what I found is that this just made people lazy. But then they went the opposite scale where there's just no DM script or no understanding of where you're taking things. So what you want is a structure, an outline, a framework, whatever you want to call it. We have something that I teach inside called the 2-step framework. It's very simple. It's about getting to know somebody first and then guiding them to something. Again, it's not a sale because that's too big of a jump gap. It's about getting them to the next possible step that they could go to, whether it be, again, long form video, could be part of your free school area, whatever it may be. But then we've got the 10K operator. So within this area, we're looking at 3 to 5 authority posts per week. These are specifically positioning you as an authority within your market. These are not posts for attention. They're not to go viral. They're not to talk about yourself. It is about working with your clients who you're trying to attract to keep you as that authority position. It's a clear call to action on everything that you do so that you can guide people to that next step. That is the best way to think about this. It's the next step. It's not to actually buy from you. Then you have a DM system, like the 2-step. And then finally, a simple sales process. So if somebody was to say, I'm ready to buy right now, what do they do? Where do they go? How can they do it without you having to guide them? But also, if you're speaking to them, is it nice and simple? Have you got to make it friction, or you're going to make it frictionless? And this is where we want to go with this side. So that's the growth engine. And then finally, like a complete pen holder now. But then finally, we have the magnetic offer. And this is everything else that you do within your business. So this is all about for the 2 to 5K coaches, this is like the packages. This is the discounts. And then also with this area, we're looking more about like having unclear results, because often you will see that 2 to 5K coaches will have unclear results. They'll have results with people, but it doesn't stand out and they don't go, that is specifically for this specific person. But then when we switch this to the 10K coach, we've got a clear outcome of exactly where we're going with. My writing's getting worse and worse as I'm going. But exactly where we're going with the way that we build our packages. Are we guiding people to something, or are we just saying buy one of these things? We also then have a defined duration. So it's the understanding of how long is somebody working with you? How long are they joining this program, this course, this mentorship, this whatever it may be? Is it a phased approach, or is it a one-off thing? And then we've got the proper pricing. So within the shift program, I teach something called the access ladder, which is having your pricing in a way that is clear for people to understand the steps, but also how much access they get to you. And that's the whole idea of the access ladder. If you haven't already seen that, then go onto my channel and find the access ladder. But it's a video where we really break down so that you can be clear for your audience without confusing them. You can give them more access if they pay more, but it's always the same outcome. And this is the huge part that we want to really focus on here. And then the last one then is, I think it's actually double F. No, it's not, it's double S. Isn't it crazy when you start writing again? I've not wrote for a long time, and now I realize that I can't write because it's predictive text. But professional delivery. How are you taking people through your program? How are you guiding them through? Because if you have a clunky system where you're sending spreadsheets, you're sending different things for different people, it becomes very unprofessional. It's not clear for them. And you'll find that people will then start to tail off and not stick to your program or your structure inside your program. So look, this is the shift. We have the pro coach, we have the authority, we have, let me get the pens right, the growth engine, and then finally we have the magnetic offer. If you want to be a 2 to 5K coach, it is this. If you want to be a 10K operator, it is this. We need to upgrade the way we do things. We need to start working on growing and scaling as opposed to feeling like you're a coach. You are an operator, you are a business operator. And this is exactly the lane you want to be in if you want to grow to 10K months. The shift is not about being an influencer. It's about being structured. It's about having an operating system that allows you to have the profit, the freedom that you want within your business, and to be able to run people smoothly through your systems, as opposed to having lots of different offers that are clunky everywhere, and people are not clear on exactly who you're talking to and where you're taking them. So look, if you are hitting 2 to 5K as an online strength coach, you already know how to do business. You know how to coach people, and I'm sure you'll know how to get them to their goal. But you need to make it clear, and you need to make that shift to become a 10K operator. And this is exactly how you take your business from amateur to pro, the same way you have with your strength and your physique. If this resonated with you and you want my support, then join my free community, which is in the description below, and get support within building these exact systems to understand exactly how to attract, how to nurture, and how to sell within the industry. For now, that's it, and I'll catch you on the next one.